Hey folks, Jason Banks with Team FYN Sports here. You're watching another episode of Instant Replay. It's a Team FYN Sports and a FYNTV.com production. Here at Team FYN Sports, we're all over it. We're covering sports all throughout North Georgia, 10 North Georgia counties, including Murphy, North Carolina. If it's happening, we're out there covering it for you, and we're bringing it to you each week. Last week, we brought you some information on Murphy basketball. We spoke quite a bit about the Lady Bulldogs and their journey into the NCHSAA state tournament for 1A basketball, and they've had a great season. We're going to talk just a little bit about them again today. We're also going to go ahead and give you a recap on all the baseball that's going on throughout our region, from Pickens County all the way over to Murphy and Union County as well. We're going to talk with RJ Casey down in Pickens County in just a little bit. But first, let's dive right into some Murphy basketball for just a minute. Last week, we talked about how Murphy has had one of the best seasons they've ever had. They had 2 losses going into the Final Four matchup, which they're playing Mount Airy. Mount Airy, also a 2-loss team. They're ranked number 1 in the state of North Carolina with good reason. Murphy was a great team, had a really great season. Unfortunately, Mount Airy found an answer for Jessica Beckner underneath the bucket, and some of those shots from the perimeter just didn't fall for Murphy like they would have liked to. That game was held in Winston-Salem, and Mount Airy moves on. They won 46-35, and that's pretty incredible because the Murphy Lady Bulldogs have averaged over 60 points a game. They finally met an opponent that had the ability underneath to really shut things down and get the rebounds that they needed. But Murphy also played really great defense as well, holding Mount Airy to only 46 points. It was a really tough game, really close game. So hats off to Murphy Lady Bulldogs. Had a really great basketball season. They're going to have a really tough time replacing Jessica Beckner. She's a senior, had over 1,000 points in her career. Just a dominant force underneath the basket. She handled the ball really well as well. But losing 4 seniors, got Coach Ray Gutierrez has a really great, strong core coming back this year. He only lost a few last year as well, that team that went all the way to the Elite 8 last year. And here they are. They made it to the Final Four. Really tough loss, but you've got Aubrey Clapsaddle, the junior guard, will be coming back as a senior next year. I know he's going to be glad to have her. Handles the ball really well. She's really speedy, makes good decisions with the basketball. And then you've got sophomore forward Sydney Addison, who shoots the ball really well. Also does a great job rebounding, and she's one that does a great job of finding the open person to get the shot off. Then you got junior guard Bree Moore, had a great season. And then freshman guard Kaya Pickens is going to be someone you want to keep an eye on and an ear out for in the future. Kaya Pickens, just a freshman, a very solid part of that offense. But again, Jessica Beckner is going to be the toughest loss, I think, the toughest position to replace, if that's even possible. And I wouldn't even want to use that word really because she's so valuable to that program. It'll be really exciting to see if she plays basketball at the next level, and we'll be sure to share that with you as soon as we can. Let's move on to baseball. Murphy baseball, they had a lot of rain that prevented their season from starting. In North Carolina, they start a couple of weeks later than we do here in Georgia anyway. But they had a really great season last year. They were state runner-up, and they nearly had a chance actually at forcing a 3rd game in the state doubleheader for the championship, losing 9-8 in their 2nd game of that series. However, they did finish 2nd last year. We're eager to see how they did this year. Finally got to see them play a little bit of baseball on Monday versus Union County. We were really looking forward to this matchup because Union County has won a couple of games against 4A Region 6 Gilmer Bobcats, who's had a struggle this season. So we weren't sure. We watch these Union and Gilmer games, and they're really close games, and Union coming out the victor, doing some great job mixing up their pitchers. And hitting the ball pretty well as well, but wasn't really sure how good they really are. And they are a good team. And Murphy, also excited to see, are they going to be as good and as dominant as they were last season? And after seeing this game, I would say it's likely that they are. I would say with 11 hits, 5 RBIs, and 1 home run in that game. Coach Adam Klontz had to be very pleased with the fact that Murphy pulled off a pretty good win, a 7-2 victory at home Monday night. Murphy scored 3 runs in the first inning, then he came back and scored 2 in the second, and and then another one in the bottom of the third. The top of the third, however, that's when Union got on the board, scored a couple of runs, and kind of prevented that thing from getting away from them. So good game. Excited to see Murphy play some more baseball as the season finally gets going for them. They're playing Andrews tonight. This is a previously recorded show, so we'll have the instant replay for you on that next week. But playing Andrews tonight, I'd say Andrews is going to have their hands full with the Murphy Bulldogs. Now Union, with the loss, falls to 5-2. They'll be playing West Hall on Thursday of this week. We'll have a recap on that for you next week. But Union baseball looking strong, still looking pretty good, and they are going to be a challenge for anyone in Region 7 AAA that's got to face the Union Panthers. Really looking forward to seeing Union and Fannin play eventually. With Fannin baseball, when we're talking about Fannin, I have a quote of the week from the Fannin games on Saturday. It's probably the best quote that I've heard since I got into sports writing and sports coverage. John Ayers, as I'm watching from behind the fence near the dugout, I got to listen to these guys. They're having a good time. He's doing some great coaching, and they're having fun. They had a lot of fun. I mean, they won their first game 13-3. So Mercy Rule, in the fifth inning, they called that game. And the second game was tight for a little while before Fannin bats warmed back up, and again they won that one 13-2. So really big day against Jackson County, and it was funny because in the middle of the first game, and they were up by like 8 runs. It was like 8-0, and John Ayers says, "Hey, you know how you win baseball games? You score more runs than they do. It doesn't matter how you do it." I thought that was pretty funny, and I couldn't help but chuckle because he's right. It doesn't matter how you do it; you just score more runs. And so there was guys that he was coaching them, and there was strategy involved. I mean, they were bunting. So these guys, they really just want to swing the bat as hard as they could and swing for the fence, especially when you're winning and you're at bat and you've been dreaming about hitting that grand slam. But he kept his guys under control. They did a great job listening and bunted when they needed to bunt. He used designated runners. Big Miles Johnson, we had fun watching him get up there and swing and put the ball into the fence, center fields a couple of times. Really great game. And with that doubleheader, with those wins, the record improves to 5-3. But don't let the record fool you, because their 3 losses are to very large schools. When you're losing games to like 4-2 to 7A Alpharetta, it says something special about the team that they've got there. And I want to emphasize team, because watch this game from BKP was in the booth. He's the announcer. He's the voice of the Fannin Rebels out there announcing this game, and I'm down there basically in the stands, getting to visit with parents, but really just watch a really great baseball game with good weather. And the one thing that we were worried about coming in this year as fans of the Fannin Rebel baseball team was, how bad is it going to affect them losing left-hand pitcher, just all-star Will Shira, who's D1 now playing ball for Georgia Tech. And I got to say, the fact that they have truly developed a program, a baseball program in Fannin County, and John Ayers and his coaches have got a team that is well managed and composed and positive. This good atmosphere, good attitude. These guys cheering from the bullpen. They're active through the whole game, cheering for each guy going up there to bat. They were aggressive out there going after the baseball. The wind was blowing, and they were chasing down curving pop flies and making diving catches. It was incredible. Gotta say, Big Miles Johnson, probably my favorite player to watch in that one, but also really enjoyed seeing Matthew Shira, right? Will Shira's younger brother, spent a little time on the hill throwing the baseball, doing some pitching in this game. Ayers rotated his pitchers quite a bit. Grant Baker came in and closed the second game for him. Man, the guy's got some heat on his arm. I mean, firing that ball in there was great. Watching these guys strike out looking, they weren't even swinging at it because they couldn't see it. So don't blink if you're batting and you've got Grant Baker on the mound. We also saw big plays by Chandler Kendall, really great player, awesome athlete. Gabe Buchanan, Jack Gobble, Carson Beavers, Blake Rogers. I could list off probably the whole roster if I was going to talk about who was MVP worthy for that game. Everybody was hitting, and Cliff Shira actually asked him for the game changer stats after the game. He says, "Oh yeah, no problem, I'll get them to you." And a couple hours later, he sends me a text message and he said, "Jason, these if I send you these batting stats, it's going to take me all night because they had so many at-bats, it wasn't even funny. Felt like almost the whole day that they had runners on the bases. So fun to watch Fannin win a big doubleheader at home on a nice Saturday afternoon when the rain finally stayed out of Fannin for a little bit, a couple of days. I'll say this to the fans, hats off to them, because I've been talking for the last couple of weeks about wrestling parents and these baseball parents. They're very similar. They care a whole lot about their kids. They love the sport. It is a great American pastime, so it's fun to go out there and see everybody saluting the flag for the national anthem, and it's just a great atmosphere. If you got nothing going on and you're wanting something entertainment-wise in North Georgia, you want to do something a little different, go catch yourself one of these high school baseball games on a Saturday. It's worth it. Good time, and so it was fun, and they're pretty good. So we're going to talk a little bit about Gilmer baseball now, shifting south. Don't call it a comeback, okay? Because I was knocking on Gilmer pretty hard last week, struggling. They were 1-8, and they beat Murray County 15-0 on Saturday. They had 7 runs in the first inning, and the game was over after 4. Obviously, if you're up by 10 runs after 4 innings, then you get the mercy rule, and they were up 15-0 in 4. So, great job, Gilmer, getting collected, getting a win, not just a win, but a big win over Murray County. Murray County, not the best record overall. I think they're 2-7 now. So, judging opponents, we say Gilmer should have had the advantage in that game, and they did, and they handled business. So, congratulations to them for getting that win. Record for them improves to 2-8 now. There's still a whole lot of baseball to be played this season, and expect that Gilmer's going to do whatever it takes to get back on track and get that record back up over 500. I'm going to take a break real quick. You're watching Instant Replay with Team FYN Sports and FYNTV.com production with FetchYourNews.com. If you like what you see and you want to see more, you want to learn more about what's going on in local sports, check us out online at FetchYourNews.com, Team FYN Sports. Just select your county and you can find all the coverage for your local teams across the 10 North Georgia counties, including Murphy, North Carolina. And also, please be sure to follow us on Instagram at Team FYN Sports. And on Twitter, we had some fun stuff on Twitter this week. On Saturday, I had fun making some animated images of these guys pitching and hitting the baseball. So check that out. You won't find these things anywhere else, and you won't find updates as quick as we put them up on Twitter. You can get on Game Changer and you can get on these other websites, but you're not going to get the real local hometown coverage that you want without following us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports. We'll take a break. We're going to thank our sponsors. Please check out our sponsors. If not for them, we wouldn't be able to do this show. We'll be right back with you.
I've had the time of my life. I never felt like this before. I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I'll tell you something. This could be love, because I've had the time of my life. I've never felt like this before, 'cause I've had the time of my life.
The Tupelo Tea Mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's TEAS. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart.
It's just this simple. Nobody beats Days on price. If it's a Chevy, you'll pay less at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save $4,000 off a new 2018 Chevy Malibu, or save up to $10,000 off a new 2018 Silverado Crew Cab. It doesn't matter which Chevy you choose. Nobody beats Days on price. $10,000 off Silverados and $4,000 off Malibus at Days Chevy in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hey folks, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for taking the time to check out our sponsors. Again, if you're interested in sponsoring the show, just contact us here at fetchernews.com. Your sponsorship enables us to be able to do this show and get the word out about what these kids are doing all throughout North Georgia and Western North Carolina. Join with me now on the phone. We've got RJ Casey, my brother from another mother, down in Pickens County, over in Jasper, Georgia. RJ covers all Pickens County sports for Team FYN Sports, a vital asset to us. And RJ, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right on this gloomy day. How about you?
Same. This rain, it keeps raining. It's messing our baseball season up, is it not?
Yeah, it's playing tricks on it, trying to get these games in, but
yeah, exactly.
Trying our best.
Great. So talk to us a little bit about what's going on with Pickens County baseball. I mean, you're down there in Jasper, and I'm stuck all the way up around Murphy and Fannin and Union, so I don't get the pleasure of seeing the Dragons play like you do each week. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on with the season, and just share with us your thoughts on the team.
Well, right about now they're 4-4 on the season. They've had a couple of back-to-back tough games with Woodstock last Thursday. Woodstock is defeated on the season so far at 9-0, and they're a 7A school, and they only lost to them 2-1, and it was a 2-1 game for most of the ball game. They had a chance at the end of the game there, but couldn't get that done. And then Chris came in up here on Friday, and that was the first actual game where Pickens didn't look too good offensively. Creekview shut them down, beat them 13-0.
Wow!
And Creekview's a 6A school, so Pickens has played some tough competition so far this year prior to region play, like Westlake, Roswell, Creekview, and Woodstock. They've played Woodland as well, which is a 5A school. So they've really stepped up their schedule heading towards region play, which starts pretty soon.
Yeah, it's coming right around the corner. I mean, when we're talking about region play, are there any teams in the region that you think Pickens needs to be watching out for?
You got Harris, pitcher in Cole Wilcox. He is committed to Georgia right now to go play baseball, but he's one of the top high school prospects coming out of the state of Georgia and just anywhere in this upcoming MLB draft. So he might get drafted. Who knows? That would be the second pitcher from Heritage in the last couple of years to get drafted by a major league ball club, which is a significant achievement for a school up in the North Georgia mountains.
Sure.
And then Northwest, we saw Northwest at the Georgia Dugout Club tournament that was held at Lake Point. There's we were all seeing how not big. They don't have any really big players. They were all my height or anything, but they can hit. And they took out Walton. They played Walton in the first game, and they beat them.
Walton County.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Whenever you got shorter batters, you got a smaller strike box, right?
Yeah, it's tough to find that strike zone, and they hit the ball pretty good there that first game, and I think they ended up going 1-1 during that Saturday. But they're going to be a team to look out for. Heritage is going to be a team to look out for. Southeast has done pretty good so far this season, and it's going to be a tough region. It always is. Especially with the 3-game sets, you never know what'll happen.
Sure, it's we're talking about Region 6, Quad A. It's a very competitive region. Gilmer, unfortunately, also going to have to battle in that region as well. As far as your athletes there, the Pickens baseball team, any familiar names and faces that you've seen out there that we've covered throughout football and basketball this year?
One sticks out to mind is Joseph Gossett. He is fresh off the basketball court. He's a starting shortstop for the baseball team. He's actually committed and signed to play baseball at Southern Union in Alabama, which is a 2-year school. And you've got Hunter Herman, who played both football and basketball this season. He's an outfielder for the team, and they're getting him to start pitching as well. Alex Snellgrove is a wide receiver for the football team. He's playing as well. And he's an outfielder as well. They get him on the mound some too. Awesome. So you got several multi-sport athletes out there.
Yeah, I think that's important to take note of. And a lot of athletes, there's always been a debate in high school sports for as long as there's been high school sports, and that is, should a high school athlete specialize in one sport or play multiple sports? By specializing, the argument would be that you're able to focus more on that specific sport that you intend to play at the next level if you're going to. But a lot of times what we see is these multi-sport athletes become more versatile, right, and actually get stronger, faster, and just their skill set as a whole becomes better, and it offers more options too. So I really like to see multi-sport athletes at the high school level. I think it's really great that Parker down there at Pickens encourages that as well, I think. So,
and to that point, to your point there, coaches like it, especially with linemen. They like with linemen to wrestle,
right?
To get their hands, wide receivers, and with running backs, they like them. Coaches like them to do track and stuff like that.
Sure, work that speed, keep them in shape. So. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And Pickens County is all of our schools are really, we've got quite a few that play multiple sports, so it's great to see that. Real quick, just a couple more minutes here, but just what do we got coming up? The next couple of games that Pickens is looking at, what do we got?
Well, they got an old familiar face in that team up north at 515, the team in purple, Gilmer. They've got them to start the region play. Gilmer's going to come down here first, and then Pickens will go to Gilmer and then head back here for the third game of the 3-game set. And then Pickens steps out of region play for a couple of games where take on Flowery Branch, and then have a rematch with Woodland before getting back into region play with, I believe, Northwest Whitfield, with a good series for them. And then they have a series with Lafayette to end the month. And then it's region play from here on out.
Outstanding. Well, RJ, thanks for taking the time to call. Really appreciate you being on the show with us. We'll do it again later in the season. And if you get a chance, man, just all I can say is to continue doing what you do, man. We really appreciate all your tweets that you put out there on Twitter. Folks down in Pickens County, if you're not following us on Twitter, you're missing out, because RJ is literally the guy who has the info. And you can even tweet directly to us. You can tweet RJ directly and ask him questions about what's going on in sports, and there's a pretty good chance that he's going to have the answer for you. He's just one of the many reporters we got here at Team FYN Sports that's all over it. Thanks again, RJ. Hey, we're going to take another short break. Please check out our sponsors. We want to thank our sponsors for sponsoring our show. We'll be right back with you in just a few moments for our last segment, Let's Be Real. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Jason Banks, Team FYN Sports. You're watching Instant Replay, North Georgia's only online weekly report of what's going on with our local sports. All through our 10 North Georgia counties and Murphy, North Carolina, our team of reporters are all over it. We're out there covering everything that we can, whether it's track, soccer, baseball, and during of course in the fall, we're on the sidelines of the football games covering football and cross country. And so you can catch us year-round covering all kinds of sports, and also our rec coverage. Don't miss our rec coverage. We include all this on our Facebook page at Team FYN Sports. You can also like us on Instagram and follow us on Instagram at Team FYN Sports. And we're also on Twitter, and you guessed it, it's at Team FYN Sports. It's too easy. You got to follow us. If you're not following us, you're missing out, because I can promise you we're getting the information out there that no one else has. You don't want to be sitting on your couch or sitting by the mailbox waiting for a newspaper that's coming 10 days after something came out. So, you don't necessarily have to wait for instant replay. If you go to fetchyournews.com, just click on your county, click on Team FYN Sports. We're going to have local coverage from the stories from the games that have been going on in your area. Right now, we're covering baseball like no one else. We're covering whether it's Union versus Murphy. Just this past week, Fannin versus Jackson County. You got Gilmer with a 15-0 victory over Murray County. I mean, these games, and the Pickens Dragons, who are 4-4 on the season right now with tough losses to 7A schools. Very similar situation to Fannin. So you're not going to get this information anywhere else. So don't go digging for it. Don't waste your time with Google. Just go to Team FYN Sports Facebook, like us, make sure you give us a follow, and if you can, share it with your friends. If you're a parent out there and you feel like your student athlete needs to be highlighted, or maybe you're a player and you feel like one of your teammates should be highlighted, just send us an email at jason@fetchyournews.com, or you can jump on our Facebook page and just send us a message. We'll be sure to respond as soon as we can. So we just got done talking with RJ Casey down in Pickens County. RJ in the bleachers for all the baseball games. I mean, this guy's riding the bus to the away games. Spent a lot of time out there covering Pickens Dragons baseball. We're excited to have him. And thankful for Luther Kinsey, who's covering Dawson County and Gilmer County for us. Myself, I'm over in Murphy, North Carolina mostly. We've also got Isaiah Garrett in Union County. So shout out to Isaiah, everything that he's doing covering the Panthers over there. And then last but not least, don't forget about Reagan Young. She's a track athlete for Fannin County High School, an outstanding rider. Check out some of her articles on our website, fetchyournews.com, Fannin County. But She's covering the Rebels baseball team this year as they look to dive into postseason play right after they dominate Region 7 AAA. Now we're ready to talk about what I like to talk about each week. And basically this is where we lace up our shoes and the gloves come off. You know, in the media industry or sports media, everything is, we're highlighting positive, or athletes in a positive way. That's the way that we do things here at Team FYN Sports. And at the same time, sometimes there comes a time whenever there's something going on in the sports world, and maybe it's time to not be so politically correct. It doesn't hurt sometimes to stand up for the little guy, or to speak up whenever you feel like something's not necessarily right. Strictly an opinion segment. I'm not an expert on anything, but I do have my own opinion, just like many of you do, and I don't have a problem sharing it with you. So I want to talk to you just for a minute about a person who I was a huge fan of growing up as a kid. Probably be surprising to you whenever I say this name, if you even know who I'm talking about. But earlier in the past week, Roger Bannister, Sir Roger Bannister, recently passed away. And sadly enough, let's be real, you probably don't have any idea who that was, right? Roger Bannister, an outstanding track athlete, many years ago. He was a mid-distance runner. Believe it or not, the guy that you're looking at in front of you, this meatball sitting here, was a mid and long distance runner myself in high school and college. Fortunate enough to run D2 cross country at West Texas A&M. And so in the track and field world and in the cross country world, a lot of people knew the name Roger Bannister. And the reason why is because prior to 1954, no one had ever run a mile under 4 minutes. Roger Bannister was the first person to ever do it, and he did it at a time when people didn't believe it was physically possible. And there have been others since then that have run a sub 4 minute mile. I can tell you that it's not the norm. I wasn't a half bad distance runner myself running at college, and I had opportunity to run D1 as well. And I never got close to a sub 4 minute mile, 4:11 mile my freshman year of college, so not even close. But Roger Bannister was from the United Kingdom. He was 25 years old. He was a medical student. What's this guy doing running a sub 4 minute mile? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, he's got the world in his hands. He's going to be a doctor, and 25 seems to be the prime age for Olympians or world-class track and cross-country runners or distance runners, marathoners. 25, 26, 27 seems to be that peak time for those athletes who ran for their entire lives. But he was 100% committed to a goal. And let's be real, most people aren't. Whenever it comes to whatever we're trying to accomplish, whether it's the strongmen at the Arnold Classic this past weekend trying to break a elephant bar deadlift record of 1,031 pounds, which was broken, by the way, or whether it's a marathoner trying to run that marathon under 2 hours, right? Unheard of. Roger Bannister was trying to put together a perfect race. Now, what a lot of people don't know is on the day that he did this in 1954, he had 15-mile-an-hour crosswinds. It was unbelievable. He didn't think he could do it. And then, as he was warming up, he told himself, today's the day. Let's be real. That's what athletes lack 99% of the time, is that decision that today is the day. You got to put in the work to get to that point, to be able to say today's the day. You can't just say it and then expect magic to happen. But if you're committed, right, you train hard, you believe in yourself, and you give it your all, today could be the day that you break that record that your dad had pitching a no-hitter back in the 70s. Or it could be the day that you set the school bench press record, or that you asked that girl to prom that you've been trying to talk to all year. If you're an athlete out there and you're watching the show, I want you to think, or just remember the name Roger Bannister. You get a chance to Google him, look him up, learn a little bit about the guy. He did this at a time, it was right after the war. He did it not for himself, but literally for the new Queen of England and for his people. And when he crossed that finish line, he didn't just fall into the arms of all of his peers. The guy literally just disintegrated. I mean, he was barely alive. Right? He gave everything that he had. And let's be real, that's what it takes to be a champion and to be remembered. So Roger Bannister, he ran from this life to the next. But let's be real, he's a name that should be a household name for any athlete, because the story is one that will challenge us to do our best in whatever it is we're trying to achieve. That's it for Instant Replay this week. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me ramble about what's going on in the sports world. If you're interested in being a part of the show, send me an email, jason@fetchernews.com. I'd love to have you on. If you've got an athlete you want to highlight, again, send us a message on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/teamfyn sports. Make sure you give us a like and a follow. It's not just our Fetcher News Facebook. Please follow us on Team FYN Sports. Also on Instagram. Thanks again to our sponsors. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. We really appreciate everything that you do for us. Appreciate all the hard work these athletes and parents do out there. Catch us next Wednesday at noon, live right here on Facebook. Catch our archive videos of Instant Replay on our YouTube channel, FYN TV. Thanks, I'm Jason Banks. See you next week.